link to Dave, and unfortunately, as I put the main Wi-Fi lead into my computer, it took it away from the extension which my phone was running off. So therefore, it all dropped out and I couldn't connect and I couldn't link, and then Wi-Fi was rubbish. So hopefully, generally speaking, it is better. Hi everyone. I think we'll just wait for Dave to turn up. But there are a few things that we're going to talk about, and one in particular is going to be sleeping on duty. Here we go. Welcome.
Here he is.
Well, there we go. I do apologise to everyone there. Only caught an hour late. It was sort of my fault. It was totally my fault. It was to do with Wi-Fi extensions being switched off by me because I've used them for my main computer and blah. Anyway, I could have been on COVID.
What are you talking about, mate? It could have been absolutely anything. It could have just been that you fed up with our friendship and it was over. I'd have gone with that. I'd have understood. Although me and Maria were talking about starting a hecklers group from the other side. It was quite nice being on the other side. I liked it. No pressure.
Hang on a minute. Okay. Better but not great. Oh, that's really strange. Okay,
you're a bit pixelated. I don't know. There you go. I'm fine.
Yeah, you seem quite pixelated. I did do a test on the computer. Wi-Fi is particularly low at the moment, and yet I'm meant to have super duper high fiber net.
we had to have. Funnily enough, we had to have Sky come round in the week, and they just changed everything, and it was working much better. So I don't know. Sometimes stuff needs updating, I guess. I've got a bone to pick with you anyway, Harry. I spoke to you last week, and it sounded like you had a cold. I know it was because you were hungover, but I seem to have caught a cold down the interweb cables from you.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't wear my mask over the interweb cables, so therefore that's why you probably caught it. Yeah, I'm super broken, so I'm going to talk a little as I can, really, mate. But basically, which I know, just go with me. Just go with me on that, all right? First one, I really need to say about this. Yeah, we mentioned this, really, the discussion with baby Amina Bay here. 60 broken bones, and I think people were a bit confused. I think they explained it quite well, what they just got 8 years each. Have you been sort of following?
No, I know they tried to blame it on the paramedics, didn't they? They said that they caused
it.
But outside of that, I don't know much about it.
Try to blame it on the inoculation as well at one point, not the fractures, no doubt. But yeah, because they're trying to with CPR on a chest, you can break ribs with an ordinary person. Babies and children, their bones seem to be far more flexible and less likely to fracture. And anyway, in a lot of the wounds, they were so the bones had started to heal again. So clearly was in the past, but beautiful little baby. It's such a sad thing. There's too many of them. There was that lad called Arthur a little while back, and there was another one before that. It's too numerous, really. Not good enough, but they hadn't come to notice before to the authorities. So it's just for people just to keep an eye out, isn't it? Really, look for clues. And I know
it's going to be friends, families, neighbours. You know, if someone knows someone's had a child but you don't see it, then that should start to ring alarm bells, because if they're causing injuries, they might not be out and about with it. They might not let people pick them up and have cuddles. But so it is normally obviously there should be health visitors, and if they don't get allowed access, then they'll definitely be ringing social services and the police to ask for assistance to see the baby. But it's friends, family and neighbours are the ones that normally raise the alarm first. And I've been to jobs, I'm sure you have, Harry, where we've had to take custody of a child because there's worries about what's going on at home. And funnily enough, maybe not funny, but when I was a child, the police came round to our house to see whether we needed to be taken away because of the neighbours had suggested that Mum was struggling, and she was struggling, but she managed to get some more support, and we stayed with her. That's when we were very young. I think we were about 4 or 5.
Okay, that seems to be. I've just changed to my computer camera just to use less data. Am I any better with that or not?
Nah.
No? Nah. Okay, it's rubbish. It is my link, unfortunately. Hopefully it will just improve as I go. But yeah, 8 years each, because they couldn't, I understood they couldn't charge for murder because there were so many injuries. They couldn't tell which was the decisive one that killed the baby. which seems a bit strange to me. So they had to go for basically called allowing physical harm to another. So, well, be GBH with intent, I would have thought, in my language, I would have thought. But so all a bit strange, mate. But I know that they would have pulled out all the stops to get a murder one there, but not murder one, but murder one there. And CPS will have said, well, actually, it's just not possible to do that. Moving on, another one really is I had to mention this one. Funeral of Jason Rivera. I stuck him a couple of times on Twitter. I mean, this was a guy 22 months in the service. There's a few live videos of him, really cheerful guy and trying to get that link with the community. You know, it's such a shame, you know, one of those really happy, smiley people and having a laugh with the person who's videoing him on the camera and when he's in uniform and things like this. Just shows it can happen to anyone. And but that was just literally going to a domestic and between a mother and two adult children, and one of the sons shot him and another at the time. So yeah, tragedy. But look, I mean, just look at the New Yorkers. They know how to mourn their dead, don't they?
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just. There's a photo down. Oh no, I missed. Sometimes they change these. There's an incredible photograph of. They got good uniforms as well, I must admit, and they.
I went to the funeral of Keith.
Yeah.
What's he's got names on out of my head? The officer that was killed at Westminster, the Westminster attacks.
Oh yeah, Harper.
That's it. And it was incredible. You know, the streets were lined with cops, but you know, when Harry shows you those pictures, the turnout from New York cops and retired cops and other services is just humbling. It's just incredible.
Yeah, you're right. I went to the PC Harper there. Palmer. And this is it. This is terrible thing. It's terrible thing. First of all, everyone knows I'm atrocious with names, and that's why with remembering names, even my own date, that's my excuse. But yeah, but it just shows really. It's such. I went to that one as well. It was a phenomenal turnout, and exactly what was going on with those officers who came from all areas. So yeah, Keith Palmer. Thank you, Donna. Shocking, isn't it? It's one of the things I say is you've got to live for the moment. You've got to live for the moment, and get things.
It doesn't matter what job we do. We never know what's going to happen. Harry's been to numerous RTCs where people have been killed on the way to and from work. And you just never know. You do have to live in the moment. So get all the nonsense, put life into focus and just live every moment and smile when you possibly can.
Right. And I hope this one isn't going to backfire on me because it's quite a lot. People might have heard about this. It's not an issue. This guy here, he's basically breached his conditions and they want him back. But this is New York Post who've picked up on it because the mugshots of UK fit and sets hearts aflutter with more than 8,000 comments. You, by all means, have a look at the Facebook of police in the UK. I forget which force actually. Was it in North Yorkshire? I think it's Yorkshire. Have a look at their Facebook and Twitter messages. I think the Met skipper on Twitter, he's done a good thing on him. But look out for him. And there's some relatively quite humorous comments about him.
Yeah, I know there's some humorous stuff on there, and hopefully that'll make sure it gets shared, and he will get found, and he will, you know, go back. Is it a recall to prison? He'll go back to prison.
Yeah, you don't know what the original offence is, and it could be quite a horrendous offence. You don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, the key thing to remember is that he is a wrong
un. Yeah. Back to this one. Okay, so straight to this one, sleeping policeman, because I've got a theory on this, and I've been umming and ahhing over my career. I don't know what you think on this one, Dave.
Oh gosh, I've been so tired. I mean, when you get a call, the adrenaline rushes. At 3-4 in the morning, your body is at its lowest point and is telling you should be asleep. When you get the call and the adrenaline and the coffee is having no effect, and your body wants to shut down there and then you know you need to stop. So I think, you know, providing people don't overdo it and spend the whole evening asleep like the fire brigade, then if you can't physically drive a car to the best of your ability, then of course you should have a break.
Yeah. And I think I remember in Dawlish, I was looking for someone because Dawlish, it's literally 60 square miles of rural land when the town went to sleep, and I would be the only one on duty on nights. And you drive around, and then you start feeling your head nodding. You think, well, okay, I've gone past the time when it's safe. If I go into the station now, I might as well just sit on the side of the road and just watch what goes by in case something, because you soon go, oh, what's that? So I would go into this secret area, but then I would get interrupted by the milk float that was going around at the time. And I used to, in the end, very rarely I slept on duty, but I was fortunate where I was backed up, where I didn't have to wait for the school run and get kids back from the school run. So some of those cops who are on night shifts are not sleeping too well anyway, because the adrenaline from what they've just been to before. They get home, they do the school run, they go to bed, and they can't sleep because guess what? The neighbour's got the gardeners doing the hedge. And so they can't sleep. They've got earplugs and all that. And they actually have to get up for the school run because their partners are busy people in their own 9-to-5 jobs. And they can come to work knackered. And then they are on containment for 3 of those hours, or they're driving around and doing paperwork. But sometimes, especially January, February, March, Dave, these months can be nasty little months to get through on a night shift.
There's whole lots of reasons for it, and reasons that we can't help. The circadian rhythms and all that sort of stuff, and your melatonin levels, and it's stuff that you can't do anything about. And you can buy lights and stuff. But I think Gemma makes a really good comment there, because if the night,
it's not slightly exaggerated, no, it's true.
if the evening is super busy, and the first time you get to sit down is 6 o'clock just before you go home, then all well and good. But it's those moments where they have a lull halfway through the evening, and then you're struggling to concentrate, and they're the ones that I find difficult. But
yeah, and I think what Jem says is that especially in London, geezers and all that, oh yeah, we never stop, we're all, and it is very much more like that. I get that, and that's why what I'm saying is I very rarely did sleep, because you didn't have time. You're going from job to job to job, and the night's gone. And even in Devon and Cornwall, because there's fewer of you. Yeah. Guess what? They're not going to give you the same numbers as the biggest cities where you need the. So, your job response, job.
If you were really struggling, that just going to find a field and taking the dog for a walk at 3 a.m. on a frosty morning would definitely wake you up. But not everyone has the opportunity to do that. So I am very lucky to do that.
And I would feel worse if I did sometimes, to be honest. If you're sort of half asleep, but occasionally you drive around, you're looking around. Oh, COVID! We're looking around for jobs, and then you're just like, oh, how much do you drive around empty streets? There's no one here, and there's nothing here. So then I would go on the observation perch on the motorway, because I thought at least people can see the car, and if they're going, wow, they go, oh, okay, there's still cops about. And they didn't know that I was like that. But I always set an alarm, because you'd get that occasional, I'd set the alarm and I'd have like half an hour sleep, basically. It's all you needed, really. Because the last thing you want to do is oversleep, and then you got early turn saying, where's the car? Where's Sergeant Tengi? When they have to put a search out for you. But you always had sort of a half ear out. I did, because we had the earphones in. The Met don't do those for some reason. They think they're silly, but they're massive. It means you can listen to 2 channels, and and that means listen to 2 channels, Jem, not listen to one and ignore the other. Okay. And so. Oh, what's going on, Dave? Burglars?
Amazon, I think. In Maxie's mind, it's burglars. Serial killers come to finish her family off, so she's going to drive them away and do her job. I think it's Jamie.
Here's a previous guest of ours, Anthony Grigg. Don't call him Tony Grigg. Anthony Grigg. I think we've all had to stop on the side of the road, but yeah, there you go. But disagree with sleeping on duty. Burglars don't sleep at night. There is that. However, I've got to say, when if you're a nodding donkey and there's nothing going on, yes, that's why I'd like to go out there and be seen. But also, if you're in the city, you can't do that, because people will see that you're sleeping. So I'd say a little power nap, if that's necessary, as long as it's not every night and it's for hours.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. That if it becomes the norm, then there's an issue. But I think, you know, we'd be hypocritical as the police to say to everyone else, if you feel tired, pull off the road and, you know, wind the window down and have a nap, but then not follow that guidance themselves. You know, if you contact your skipper and say, look, I am really struggling, and it should be afforded you just to have 10 minutes out, which I know is difficult. Trust me, I know it's difficult, but yeah.
Jem, that's a good point. You only got one because the response are caring about that particular area, that borough, whereas on the on-response traffic, you're listening to we've got big air, and then we've got the little airs. So we jump between the little airs, Tiverton, Exeter, you know, that sort of thing, or down to Plymouth, and we can shoot across, listen to other things going on at the time, but then we have a general overview, because those response officers who have very little backup, because they're in the sticks, they rely on those specialist units more than anything, especially road accidents and things like that. They turn up and they've only one other if they're lucky. So that's why we sort of have one in the ear and one on the main set. So that's cool. But yeah, the thing is, in Devon and Cornwall, we had a problem with ARVs at one point because they took our sofa away. They renewed the place and we had hard plastic, ugly chairs. ARV stuff. So you've got literally about 12, 15 kilos of body armor and stuff like that going on, probably about 12 kilos. And they're coming in, big guys, a lot of them, and all the seats were broken because as they came into the meal break, they were like that, and they were like, then this meal break might be 4 a.m. They were going, snap. And eventually somebody donated a sofa, and the bosses were good enough to turn a blind eye at it. But as I say, it was very, very full, and if it was, it contained usually the same person. And it was because they were doing school runs and things.
Your internet's gone rubbish again. It was really good, but it seems to have gone crackly again. Yeah, great, Anthony. I think you're making another great point there. That's what I said about at least with the dogs, I could go and find a field and lay a track for the dogs and put some hides and stuff out, and that would normally work for me. And you're right, yeah, going and doing a bit of foot patrol or something, anything to get you out of that warm, comfy car and go and get some blood pumping around your body, because your body is trying to tell you to go to sleep. So yeah.
I would say I would agree to a certain extent. The trouble is with that, and you would Anthony was traffic as well, but the problem is you are set aside from the accident, like you say, to those other roads, because I would be doing a thing on the side of the road in the morning, for example, and I don't know which way in a 50-mile radius I'm going to be going, and I would go like that. So yes, you can do it in the middle of the city, is a good point, but you'll find there was actually nothing going on in the city either. Rattling a few door handles, Anthony, you really are going back some. We used to do the glass check, didn't we? We used to drive around the town looking for broken windows because we didn't want the early turn to find out that Knights had, and that's why me and Ollie Taylor used to keep awake at night by donning sometimes no, it's not civvy jackets actually. I think we're just going as we were and literally just walking around town and sneaking around and spying on each other and trying to find the other person without seeing you.
We used to play
that
games.
meant and you covered so much time, and you bumped into a lot of dubious people as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, to some people that might sound silly. We used to play hide and seek effectively. I know to some people that might say it sounds silly and frivolous, but it got you out there and into those little dark alleyways and little side roads that you might not normally go down. And the things that you could sometimes find were brilliant.
Well, yeah, that's true. Although famously, I fell asleep on a blue light run with all four wheels off the road. And I wasn't the driver. I was the passenger. And it was as we left the brow of the bridge and landed was when I woke up. But then we had another 25 minutes to go, so I just went to sleep again. Just like that.
Bless you. Hard life.
This is horse boxes. They sound comfortable. I wouldn't mind that.
There's plenty of space. I don't know if they'd be comfortable.
Yeah, plenty of hay, isn't it?
In it.
Fresh bed every day. Bale of straw, bale of hay. Yeah. I know. Oh, next. Oh, shall I? No, I won't say it. It was a possible guest for next week. A call taker radio operator, a really top-notch one, who is on Twitter. Hopefully, they're just getting all the permissions and things, and get her in. I think most people can actually probably guess who it is. One of the best RDOs that are on Twitter that are really informative and massive experience, would be a really good idea. And by the way, Devon and Cornwall are recruiting call takers, so you can, and specials.
Recruiting everybody at the moment. PC specials, call takers, dog handlers. Dog handlers are able to transfer around the country as dog handlers. Never been, hardly ever heard of, but it seems to be common practice this year. I think it's a bit of a struggle to get bums on seats.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to catch. I'm going to catch you said a few videos, and I've now actually got them, I think. So that's good. Let's have a look at that. You've had a little guest this week, haven't you?
We have. Shall I tell you all about him? So we had little Bear. Gemma was contacted by one of the rescues that we work with, and they said there's a German Shepherd, 20 weeks, and he was already in his second home. 20-week-old German Shepherd pup. Would we mind going to have a look and then seeing what needs to happen from there on? So the first people got him, I think, on a whim, and really realized that dogs aren't for them. Let's hope they never get a dog again. The second couple, they took him on.
Oh, really?
And I think they quite quickly realized that they were out of their depth, and they made the right decision to ask to seek help and see if he could be rehomed. His name's Bear. He's a sweetheart, absolutely lovely dog. And compared to some of the dogs we've had over the years, he is an absolute angel. You can see such a little beauty. So Gemma immediately took him out of that home environment, because all that's going to happen is his behavior is going to get worse, and you can't have that with any dog really, but certainly a breed like him. He came to live with us for a week. Tia and Indy and Jamie got stuck into him, taught him the basics, showed him how to be a dog. We taught him how to be around other dogs. There's a clip of him with the cat. Okay, he is barking at the cat, but by the end of the week, he was fine with the cat. There you go. There's Tia teaching him marker training. And yeah, he was never going to stay with us. He was going to... There he is. That cat is bomb-proof. That cat could not care less. And we did everything we possibly could. Took him into town, introduce him to all sorts of different stimulus, and that cat couldn't care less. And we already had a few people that were interested. Even before we went to get him, we had someone asking us if we knew of any German Shepherd pups, and she came along today. Had a little session with him at where we train the dogs, and she took him home this afternoon. So fingers crossed for Bear. Tia did a little bit of a tearful video earlier. She always takes these dogs heart. She always she lets them in her heart, and they always take a bit of her heart.
Did you just rip it away from her little fingers? Did you just rip him away? Say, come on, it's just a dog, it's business.
No, but the children are all very different. So India knew, so she wasn't clinical about it, but she was fine to see Bear go. But yeah, Tia just gets a little bit more emotionally invested. So she was a little bit upset this afternoon. But he's not far away, so we'll get to go and see him and do some training with him. So
well, hopefully she and all of you, hopefully you and all of her and all of you have started him on a new path in life. It will be a lot happier.
And he would have taught Tia. That's what I've said to Tia. You know, he will have taught you things that will build your confidence and your understanding of dogs. Because I've got high hopes. Hopefully, she'll carry on doing it. Would I move to Devon in a heartbeat? It nearly happened, but COVID got in the way, unfortunately. Perhaps now, when we retire, we'll move down there.
Well, you're welcome, mate. I'm going to be moving down to Cornwall, so if you come to Devon, I'm moving away one more. But at least we'll have a little house by the seaside we can retire together with.
Yeah, exactly. You and me, lovely. Isn't that lovely? What a lovely thought.
What an amazing thought. Right. Who is App? Who's Ape? App.
AP is her dog, a German Shepherd. Lovely, beautiful dog.
Does he
but
just
yeah,
nudge the cat all the time? Does
he like
I
most
imagine.
dogs like that like to get the prey item to move because then it's fair game and you can chase it. When they're not moving, it's a bit boring. So you'll quite
Yeah.
often see a dog go "Yeah," to the cat to see if it'll run away.
Ah.
Some of our police dogs over the years
But
have been known to do that to the criminal when they hide up. Just give them a gentle nudge because if they move,
yeah.
woo-hoo!
Yeah. See, Arthur does these funny things where he goes around the lounge and then he'll just dab, like just like an ornament thing. You know, I don't know what they are, but women put them in houses in particular. I don't know what they do or are, but they're meant to look pretty or something. I don't know. And he comes along and he nudges this thing and it rocks. And he just uses the same thing. He does it, just nudges. Oh, what is this about?
Chrissy. So the last comment there, our PD Parker, he's a retired Kent dog who's got living the life of Riley. He is now, but by the looks of it, he's struggling to get used to cats. It can take a while for some of them.
Remind us the name of your cat, Dave.
We always call him. Well, he's got lots of names because he's quite cheeky. We normally call him Ginger, but his name is Vision. He's named after the Marvel character Vision.
Right, I'm not sure if I was meant to put that one. I like the blue flashing collar.
That little bear with we put a collar on him. Gemma didn't realise she'd managed to put a blue flashing one on, which I thought was quite apt. He's never going to be a police dog, but it's quite apt that he was with us and had a blue flashing light.
It's interesting you say that. And why would he never be a police dog, you think?
I mean, he could have done with some training. He probably could have done. But I'd quite like to see some of them sometimes go off and live, a lovely life in the country. Yeah, that's where he's going, off into the country. So fingers crossed, have an amazing life. So some dogs are it, definitely, and when you see them, you're like, yep, definitely. And other dogs, you're a little bit more unsure, and other dogs, you're just like, no, definitely not. But with the right training, it would have been.
You can tell straight away. In particular, thank you, Maria. When Anne Freeze. Could you give a shout out to Donna Olsen, dog Apocalypse? I said it. It's a bit like Phenomenon and Anonymous. She's been poorly, sad to hear that. Had an operation emergency spay yesterday and is now into recovery mode. Ah, that's the dog. Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's AP we were talking about just now.
Yeah. Aww. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so this is she was saying. Donna was saying the cat punches would be gone very shortly. Cat punches her in the face and she won't stop. It's so funny and scary for me. I keep them separately mostly, but oh my gosh, the thing about cats. Right. I mean, the trouble is my wife, her cat, is long gone now. He lived till 21. He was blind in one eye because
21.
No, that's wrong. No. I'm right. I'm mixing them up. Their dog, a Jack Russell, went up to a cat. The cat went whoosh and took the eye, damaged the eye so much it had to be, and that made the dog aggressive because he couldn't see what was going on there. So he was then a very sort of they've all got little scars from them around the family, little mementos, little tattoos from this dog, which probably wouldn't. So we're lucky to be able to keep it. Penny, that's all right. We were late anyway, Penny. Good to see you. Thank you for your good wishes, Penny. She's got the most adorable dashhound. Afternoon called Pickles. Afternoon, sorry, I'm taking a break from packing up from my move, leaving my family home for 48 years. You're leaving your home. You're leaving your home for 48 years. You're coming back after the 48 years. Yeah, blimey, that's packing a few memories there as well, aren't you?
Definitely.
Okay. Right. Yeah, that's really blurry for me. I don't know if it is for you.
Finn, yeah, there's just no light down there. Finn knows that dinner's being cooked, so he's at the door in the hope that he might get there first.
Right. Thank you so much for persevering with us, everyone. We actually kept the audience, which surprised me because I would have walked off hours ago. Dave, good luck with your course this week. Love to the family. And
you know how it goes.
Tell Tia to pull herself together. It's only another dog, okay? There'll be plenty more that will fast through.
She's going to train a dog to bite you in the bum for that comment.
It will be deserved as well. So this is the thing we should have heard more out. One of my colleagues fell asleep in a Panda as someone on the shift tied tin cans to the rear bumper. We were all amazed when he drove past the nick with sparks flying everywhere. It's brilliant.
Yeah, not only do you have to keep an eye out for supervisors when you fall asleep, you have to keep an eye out for your colleagues trying to do cheeky things to you.
If they find you,
you're
good. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Hey, take care, everyone. Lots of love. Stay safe.